All right, 5 pillars of productivity. These are 5 things that we should check before we start any phase of work. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how simple it is. If it's a small task, we can run through these 5 things mentally. If it's a larger task, we probably want to really get into the nitty-gritty details and check them out. Basically, we just want to ensure that we've got the materials ready, equipment, tools, subcontractors all confirmed, information, the area is properly detailed, the area is ready for us, and we have all the proper goals. We're going to walk through each one of these stages in a little bit more detail. They're probably obvious to most, but this is just a really defined process, a structured way of thinking about a task of work before we start the task of work, and what we're trying to do is ensure that it's absolutely going to be successful, that we've done everything we can to set it up for success. Number 1, material. Here's what we're really looking for with material. You walk in, you look at a task of work, you just ask yourself this list of questions. Do we have a completed bill of material for the area? Have we verified that all this material is on the construction site? Has major equipment been verified that it's complete and it's in good working order? Hopefully that was done when we received delivery of it, but it doesn't hurt to recheck it again. Is it located close to the work area? If not, can we move it close to the work area prior to the workers starting? Has the material been organized and sorted so that it can be rapidly accessed for by the people doing the work? And then, have we considered all the consumables and unforeseen materials that may be required? When I say unforeseen, obviously you can't foresee everything, but there's certain materials. For instance, my background's electrical. So there's certain materials that you don't really plan on, like reducing washers and goof rings and all the great little things that happen when you make mistakes. You can't really plan on it. Nobody expects it to happen, but it does happen. Do we have a supply of those on the job site so we aren't in a position where we stop work because we're missing those couple little things? Same thing for equipment, tools, and subcontractors. If large equipment's required, is it on site and is it in the area? Small tools, are those here? Is everything verified? Is it in good working order? Preferably when it comes to small tools and large equipment, we want to ensure that it's as close to the working area as possible. Power, that's fairly straightforward, but it's not always there. Take a look and watch your crew. How long do they spend looking for power every single day? Have we fueled the equipment? Is it lubricated? Is it warmed up? Warmed up is fairly simple, but that can be as simple as somebody showing up 10 minutes early, starting the equipment and getting it running and having it ready to go so that when start time comes, we can actually dive right into production. And key subcontractors. Obviously, we should be communicating with them along the way throughout the entire process, but we definitely want to make sure that we've talked to them 72 hours in advance and 24 hours in advance before they're required to be on site for any given task. Layout, information details. There's a really simple thing here, and this is really, really critical. Installation details should not be designed to be understood. Should not be designed to be understood. They should be designed so that they cannot be misunderstood. Minor nuance. But trying to go that extra mile and designing something so that it cannot be misunderstood is super, super critical when it comes to laying people out. Something I always like to take a look at when I'm assessing my day as a foreman is I like to take a look at how many times did somebody come back to me and ask me questions about something that I laid them out on. And I'm taking a look at that constantly and saying, okay, could I have been a little bit clearer? Should I have detailed it out a little bit more? What could I have done, in essence, to make it better? And so some simple things. Do we include all RFIs? Did we cross-reference this with other drawings and specifications? Have we removed all unnecessary information? Real critical. If we've got those 3 things done, we have absolutely set ourselves up for productivity. But really critical at this point in time is making sure the work area is ready. Whether it's our doing or whether it's dependent on other contractors, the customer, what have you. Is all the other prerequisite trade work, is it complete or complete enough for us to get started efficiently? Is the work area, is it clean, is it safe? Is the lighting appropriate for us to do installation? Obviously, you need a little bit less light if you're doing branch rough-in than if you're doing finished painting. Is there a reasonable amount of other workers scheduled to be in that area during the time frame which we're looking to get in there? Are we going to have a stacking of trades issue? And if I can answer yes to all of these things, we're ready. We can start moving in. Last but not least, here's the fifth pillar, super important. Have we clearly defined our goals and what we're expecting? What does success look like if we go out there? How does the craftsman, how do they know hero or zero at the end of the day? And there's a lot of ways to take a look at this. Quantities is one. Maybe we're working in an area where quantities are applicable, or maybe it's better to break the task down by area. But either way, whichever we go with, we've got to just get that down, and we've got to figure out what that method is, how we're going to define the goal. What's the budget? Is it by unit or by task, by area for that task? What's the budget look like? And how are we going to track? Is it going to be in man hours, total cost? What's it going to be in? What do we think is reasonable as a supervisor? Is that budget reasonable or is it unreasonable? It's a fact, so we've got to deal with that fact. But is it reasonable? Can we achieve it or not? And then thinking about how are we going to clearly communicate these goals to the crew? It doesn't do any good to set a goal that's so far out there that it can't be achieved. Also doesn't do a goal that's so simple that it can always be achieved. So goals should always work to stretch people just a little bit. And then how are we going to measure it? And this gets back to the quantity, or is it by quantity and some key metrics? Like maybe this is a phase of work is branch rough-in. So we've got some quantity metrics: 3,200 hours, 46,000 feet of conduit, 1,300 J boxes, 160,000 feet of wire. That's a lot to track, and I can say tracking quantity sometimes is really, really challenging. Or maybe we're better off to break it down by system and by area and by floor, and we can just take a look at that, and we can look at the areas as complete or incomplete, and we can look at observed percent complete. But either way, really important to define the goals so that when you're laying out somebody, you're telling them clearly what to do, you're ensuring they have all the tools and equipment to get the job done, and you're letting them know what you're truly expecting as an output.